the Indie Vault. I am Mark, and this is a very, very special episode of the Indie Vault. This time we're not doing so much a game video, this time we're doing an actual interview with an actual game developer. And today I have the creator of the Xbox Live indie title, Bop N Pop, Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant, how are you doing today?
Doing great, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming. Now, first, let's start off this interview right. Tell me about what your company's all about, TRU Entertainment, and tell me a little about your game, Bop N Pop.
Okay, TRU Entertainment, I started about 10, 11 years ago, and basically as a kid, I always wanted to make my own video games. So it was my lifelong dream to learn to program and to make my own games. And I wanted to make games that, at their core, were just fun. So, I mean, to me, that's what games, are all about, is having fun. So when trying to come up with a name, I kept going back to how do I make just truly fun games? And True Fun just kind of kept sticking in my mind. So I was like, you know what? True Fun Entertainment is what I'm going to call this thing. And Bop N Pop was actually the first game I wrote about 10 years ago. And it's a fairly straightforward puzzle game where the orbs drop down and you got to match them up and knock them out with an activator. So it kind of works similar to Super Puzzle Fighter.
Yeah, I've seen it. It has a lot of similarities to something like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, or maybe Dr. Mario or Tetris Attack. How exactly did you want to differentiate your game from some of those titles that we listed off?
I wanted to make something that, you can just kind of pick up and play, and that you don't have to learn a lot of play mechanics to get started with it. So something that kids can pick up and play as well. So to differentiate it, I didn't want too complex a gameplay. And since it was my first game 10 years ago, I kind of went for a simple approach. So rather than multiple pieces falling at once that you can switch around, it's just one piece at a time. And but there's still some pretty cool moves that you can do to your, like as you're playing, you knock out more and more of the orbs, and your attack meter builds up. And then you can use those attacks to like reverse your opponent's controls. So left goes right, right goes left. You can freeze their board. You can add orbs to their board. You can subtract from yours. So that's what I was going for, just simple, fun gameplay, and you can actually do some pretty kick-ass moves.
Yeah, I spent a little time with it, and I definitely had a lot of fun tricking my opponent and sort of using the different power-ups that you had on there. So how exactly was the process of making the game? How long did it take you to sort of figure it out, and what were some of the challenges that you faced while making it?
Challenges on the Xbox, it was mostly just, I wanted to get something. This is the first time I've had Bop N Pop on the market where people can buy it. And I wanted to make sure that they weren't just getting some port of a game I made 10 years ago, that they're actually getting something new and exciting. So from a technology standpoint, it was perfect. I love the XNA framework. It's really easy to work with. But getting enough graphical elements in the game and kind of beefing up the gameplay was really the biggest hurdle to jump in order to get the game out for the Xbox.
What exactly has been your experience with using the Xbox Live indie market, and would you use it again if you had the chance?
Yeah, it's actually a great community. Selecting XNA as a platform was really a no-brainer for me. It's kind of cool. The way you get a game out is it's all approved and reviewed by the community itself. So Microsoft isn't actually reviewing your games. Other developers are giving you their feedback, and they're giving you the thumbs up, thumbs down on whether or not you can go to market. So it's a pretty interesting program, and just a great community. I mean, if you got any questions, anything, they're right there to help you out. One thing which I thought was interesting is they did like that all the balls have different faces on them, that I didn't use the same piece and just change the color. Because believe it or not, several gamers are colorblind, and a lot of puzzle games that use the same color or use the same piece with different colors, they can't actually even play it. So the fact that all the pieces are different and differently colored makes it more playable. So that was nice feedback that I wasn't expecting.
What exactly inspired you to make Bop N Pop, and what would you say your gameplay philosophy was behind making it?
Well, I've always loved puzzle games. I'll just sit and play for hours. So I wanted to create a game myself that I could just sit and play for hours. And I would say Super Puzzle Fighter, Tetris, and Bust a Move are probably my biggest inspirations. I've had the game for a long time, and through its many ports, it's still fun, and I still pick it up and play it to this day. So I was proud of that fact.
Let's talk a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and what are some of your like favorite games to play, like whenever you're not making games.
Yeah, I'm 29 years old. I currently live in Dallas, Texas, and I'm married. Just had a little baby girl, so she's 8 weeks old now, so I'm a little sleep deprived, but I'm hanging in there. I think the original Super Mario Brothers is probably my favorite game of all time, but I love Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, Super Metroid, Killer Instinct. But my current addiction is still Modern Warfare 2. I got that for Christmas and I haven't put it down. So it comes in handy with those midnight feedings for the baby. When she's out, if she's awake, I might as well stay awake and you know, do some deathmatch while I wait. So fun stuff.
Nothing says caring for your loved one like Team Deathmatch and Modern Warfare 2.
Exactly.
Yes. Do you have any new projects in the works for TRU Fun Entertainment, and where would the different platforms be?
Right. My current project I've been working on for about a year and a half right now, and that's Govelius 3D. Govelius is basically the Zelda for the Sega Master System, and I didn't even play it as a kid, but my wife is really into the Sega Master System, and as much as I was talking about Zelda, she's like, you know what, you need to play Govelius, because that's the, you know, the true 8-bit RPG. So we kind of had a little bit of a rival there. After playing through it so many times and growing to love it, I've learned that it has a pretty big fan base, and I want to give it the sequel it deserves. So I'm kind of going for like a Zelda Ocarina of Time. So kind of the low poly 3D graphics, not completely low poly, but enough to kind of hang in there with like N64 style, and continuing the story of Govelius, and been working on that game for about a year and a half now, and I've posted videos on ScrewAttack and YouTube, so feel free to check them out.
Well, you can find everything from Chris and TRU Fun Entertainment on YouTube and on ScrewAttack. And be on the lookout for any new games that he has on the line. Chris, thank you so much for your time. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, so anything you want to say to the indie fans out there?
Just keep on doing what you do, and the passion of game development must live on. So hang in there, and that's what's kept me going. And ScrewAttack fans, G1s, love you guys. Hang in there. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Hey, thanks for joining me, Chris. All right, be on the lookout for more reviews, more interviews, hopefully. If you'd like to see your stuff interviewed or possibly getting involved, feel free to contact me. Again, Chris, thank you very much, and everybody out on the internet, have a good night.